is your Aquarius full moon forecast for July 29th, 2026. So on July 29th, we have the full moon in Aquarius, and that is at 6 degrees. The moon in Aquarius with the sun. Oh, look at that! Conjunct Jupiter. Lucky Jupiter. Yeah, so what does this mean? What is Aquarius? Aquarius is about tech. It's about communications. It's about the future. And we have Pluto, the powerhouse, connected with those in authority, the powers that be. And because it is in Aquarius, it has to do with anything about the future. That's space, of course, AI, technical, anything. And what is else? Aquarius. It's about liberation. It's about freedom. And that is with the moon. And the moon, as always, is connected with the public. Now, Pluto is, in fact, retrograde. So that kind of creates a little tension when it comes to the powers that be. And anything regarding the past, anything that may kind of stemmy or stall communications, or it may have something to do with freedom, loving, liberation, anything to do with the age of Aquarius and the future. That can be some amazing inventions. That can be talks of, yes, as I mentioned, freedom. And yes, could that have some mix-ups with communications or anything technical, future-oriented? Absolutely. Certainly the powers that be, because it is with the moon. And what else is Aquarius? It's surprises. It's shock. So something of important information may become very shocking, involving the public, or information coming to the public involving some surprising events. And look here, oh boy, and whatever information is released, because we're talking the full moon and the sun with lucky or expansive Jupiter, will definitely get noticed, because Jupiter does everything in a big way, and it is with the full moon and the sun. Now, naturally, there is an opposition here with the full moon in Aquarius and the sun, and lucky Jupiter, prosperous Jupiter with the sun. So it's like Jupiter is kind of helping the sun and the full moon broadcast whatever information will take place now, because we do have the moon, and not only does the sun oppose the moon by a full moon, but we have Jupiter. So Jupiter is in Leo now at 6 degrees with the sun in Leo. And Leo and Aquarius kind of have a little bit in common, because they are all about what? Entertainment, the show, that which deals with the public, which is popular, more so a little bit with Leo than Aquarius, but nonetheless with Jupiter there, that only increases the show, the performance, or whatever is being broadcast right now, connected with the powers that be. However, because it is with the full moon in Aquarius, with the sun conjunct Jupiter, expansive Jupiter in Leo, is actually going to favor everybody to some degree. This could be a very prosperous time for you. Certainly, we might be feeling rather lucky. And of course, as always, where this full moon in Aquarius with the Sun and Jupiter is in your personal chart will be where this expansion takes place. However, nonetheless, this could be kind of a shot in the arm for the economy with the Sun, with Jupiter, because the Sun is all about success and Jupiter is all about that which not only is expansive, it is prosperous. And what else is Leo? It's with the fifth house. So there could be information now, kind of like with the last month's new moon or last new moon. There could be information now connected with children, pregnancy, interest, anything to do with speculation that could be good or not too good, depending, and anything to do with luck. What else is the fifth house? It's how we feel. It's very emotional. And because we have Jupiter with the Sun now, and the full moon in Aquarius, we're feeling rather emotional about something. And as I mentioned, this is going to be very pertinent where this connection is in your personal birth chart. But yes, fifth house interests are also going to come to the fourth front. Yes, we may be a flurry of sensitivities and feelings and emotions, and whatever occurs now that is very connected with the public and possibly information will be important. Why? Because looky here, we have Uranus, which is, by the way, the depositor of this full moon in Aquarius. And as always, with Aquarius, Uranus is in Gemini. And looky here, that makes a beautiful exact trine with Pluto, the powerhouse, the powers that be. And it also can be connected with what? Our own personal power. And what else is Gemini? Gemini is just like Aquarius in that it is connected with communications, but more so with documents, information, and so on. And we have Mars, the action planet, also in Gemini. Now it is not conjunct Uranus, and it is past Uranus, that shock value. But Mars gets things done. Where up? There's that word again, in communications. We want to be in the know. We're rather curious right now. And because Mars, the action planet, is in Gemini, we want to get things done. We want to travel. We want to talk. And with this connection with the moon and Pluto, that powerhouse in Aquarius, we've got a lot to talk about. And as always, it's the third house. So we have a pertinent information right now where we want to just communicate with everybody. We want to write. There's going to be a lot going on with the internet too, because Gemini and Aquarius, and to some degree even Leo connected with the fifth house, have something to do with how we talk, what we're saying, what information is being put out there. And as I said here, Mercury is the connection with Uranus and Mars with Gemini. So with the trine with Uranus and the full moon in Aquarius and the public, oh boy, we're really going to be talking up a storm about something to do with documents, writings. It could even be a well-known book that really stirs us and spurs us on to talk about. It could be, yes, indeed, it could be documents or some kind of information connected with that trine with the powers that be that we just can't discuss enough. Maybe there's information coming out about, well, that has to do with AI, it could be UAPs, it could be anything to do with systems going up or systems going down, inventions, or space travel. Anything that deals with this combination of the powers that be and documents. And for us personally, we may be really involved with very serious, pertinent discussions about our goals, the future, and that is extremely important because we're feeling this sense of brevity right now, lightheartedness. We're wanting to kind of relate, open up to people, and that may include, yes, writing a lot more connections with the internet. Social media is really going to explode here, but this is the centerpiece of this Aquarius full moon, and with expansive, there's that word again, Jupiter, we're really going to be telling it like it is and really fascinated by the show. But for personally, all of us, this is a good time to what? Invest. It's a good time if you really wanted to pursue those goals with entertainment or anything connected with children's interests, or really it's about your own personal style and self-expression. So those interests will be paramount also during this time. Yes, indeed, absolutely. And we have the the south node, that very sensitive point at the critical 29 degrees of Leo. However, past the Sun and Jupiter, although as we know, nodes go in reverse. So eventually here there's going to be a connection with the South node and Jupiter and the Sun, and the North node eventually here, and the Moon within days to the North node as well. So that kind of heightens this full moon in Aquarius and Jupiter Sun in Leo. But we are feeling, at the very least, we're feeling very generous. Yes, so there's some good here. It's kind of a positive yet kind of uncertain, questionable time. But hey, take advantage of all this positivity and expansiveness, even in your personal feelings right now and your sensitivities. And because we have Jupiter with the Sun, and we've got the connection with Mercury, with Uranus and Gemini and Mars. We really want to speak our mind right now. And the third house is also connected with Gemini. So we really want to talk up a storm. This is the time, if you do want to have those negotiations, this is a time you really want to speak your mind. And because it's connected with a very public full moon in Aquarius with Pluto and the trine to Uranus and Mars, that action planet in Gemini, this is a time to say what's on your mind. Yes, and a lot of people, because of this Jupiter Sun connection here, are really gonna have a lot to say. So there's a lot in the news now with people becoming very verbal. Could be good, and it may not be so good. So I guess we'll have to wait and see. Yes, indeed. And we've got Venus, the planet of love and affection, also at 21 degrees of Virgo. So that kind of still puts a little bit of a chill on certain love and romance. Not negative, not really positive, but with Venus, the planet of love and affection with Virgo, it's about our sense of what? Yes, our sense of duty. So we may feel with love and relationships, no, there may not be so much love and romance and all of that. But Venus is very dutiful. It is a planet that is very analytical, so we're going to have to watch our criticisms of our loved ones because that could really air the love and romance expectations here and not be so critical. It's about a time to really, yes, have that sense of duty with our loved ones. Yes, be critical, but maybe more constructive than analytical. Yes, be analytical as far as like research or really thinking about how your future fits in with your loved ones, but don't be overly frosty because Venus can be a little bit of a chilly connection there with love and all forms of relationship. So the trick here is to be more soft-hearted, more tender-hearted, and empathetic than critical. So keep that in mind. Yes, indeed. And it does make, however, an exact what? Square to Mars. Venus and Mars square. So yes, that kind of ups a little bit of this critical air, this critical, well, you don't want to use the word, but combativeness, defensiveness. So here we want to emphasize the need to be more kind, the need to be more understanding, because Venus and Mars is a classic for some conflicts. And, because Mars is about intimacy and it's about our actions, very physical. And Venus is the tender spot. Venus is about the romance, the hope of love. So we can't emphasize enough here. You want to just pull back a little bit, not kind of leap forward to kind of find wrongdoings in a relationship. And always keep in mind this isn't always about love relationships. It can be connected with, yes, believe it or not, work relationships, friendships, and yes, love, family, you name it. You want to just take a step back once you find yourself being a little bit nitty picky with your relations with others, and instead of developing more of a conflicting, combative, defensive attitude, you want to kind of stop and say, well, maybe I should put a little bit more emotion into this, a little bit more compassion. And especially since we've got Jupiter with the sun, this is the perfect time to show how good-hearted you are, because that's Leo. Leo loves to be generous. Leo loves to give. And so that's another thing right now besides fifth house interest, children's. It's about generosity. It's about our charity. So yes, you want to take a hint from this Jupiter-Sun connection indeed. And we've got Saturn, yes, Saturn and Neptune retrograde. And what is retrograde? Now we've got 3 planets retrograde, including the full moon with Pluto. It's about the past always. Now, a planet is generally not always at its best as retrograde, but in a positive light, this is indicating that we will have to go back to the past and reform, redo, retrograde Saturn, retrograde Neptune. And although Neptune and Saturn aren't really, well, you could say kind of within 10 degrees of each other, not really technically aspecting each other as with a conjunction, there is somewhat of a connection there where Saturn and Neptune, especially because Saturn is now going retrograde, there is this connection with what? Because it is retrograde. That's right, because we're involving nebulous Neptune. There is that connection with secrets. So Saturn kind of puts on the brakes here. And Neptune likes to hide a little bit because it's retrograde. So not even Neptune is really at its best now. So there may be some information that comes about now that really we want to dig and find out what the truth is, because when you've got nebulous Neptune in its retrograde phase, as with Saturn, this is kind of debilitating some information. But what is Aries? Aries is about the leader, not so much about the powers that be with Pluto. Nonetheless, there may be some questions, Aries, regarding people that are in charge. And on a personal level, that may be people that we know that are in positions of power, managers, supervisors, people that are owners of companies or corporations and the like. And granted, there may be some questions regarding these leaders. And be cautious of what your own leadership as well, because remember, Saturn and Neptune are together, so there may be questions about your leadership, others' leadership, or there may be just some questions about who we can trust and who we can't trust. And again, this is also personal. And with this Venus in Virgo, yes, there may be some uncertainty about relationships with 3 planets retrograde right now. Yes, indeed. And we've got Mercury up. Yes, Mercury is now direct, and it is in Cancer at almost 18 degrees, 1753, and it is the depositor of both Mars and Uranus. So we're feeling this is a good thing right here, because it is kind of making a sextile water and earth with Venus. So this is really positive. This is giving us a sense of family, a sense of protection, and kind of like this Sun Jupiter connection, this sense of charity, this sense of feeling rather refined and compassionate, very protective. And so Mercury in Cancer kind of stands alone here with that Cancer connection. Nonetheless, this kind of gives us this sense of wanting to really oversee others' well-beings and really kind of put out a little empathy with possibly what other people are going through, because there is this connection with Uranus and Mars, and it is the depositor. So whatever comes about now, we may feel like even in our personal lives, we need to have that extra sense of really helping others out. This is a good thing, to help others, to protect, succor, uh, really have some sensitivity to other people's needs. And that is what we want to communicate now, for whatever reason, connected with this full moon with Pluto and the Sun and Jupiter. Nonetheless, we are feeling rather generous and kind of lucky. This might be the good time with this Leo Aquarius connection to get that lotto ticket, or to maybe take a chance on something that you put in the back burner that you thought never would take off the ground. This is the time to really kind of get together with people and talk about those objectives, those what? Jupiter, Sun, Aquarius, those large plans. Because this is the time, even with a little bit of the craziness with the retrograde phases here, we still are feeling rather focused on what we want. And so that's a positive right there. Yes, so a lot of good here. that's coming about. And that's what's important about the tone of this chart. We're feeling like, yes, we got to deal with whatever news we're being told, especially here with the public, with the powers that be. But we've got generous Jupiter with the sun, so at least whatever comes out now, we are seeing the positive, the light at the end of the tunnel here. And boy, things are really going to be maybe a little blown out of proportion. Certainly something we're going to discuss for a long time, as we have Uranus, the depositor of the full moon in Aquarius, and Mars, that action planet. Yes, if we feel like, well, whatever we want to take off the ground isn't really going very fast now because of retrograde Pluto, retrograde Neptune, retrograde Saturn, or maybe we're feeling that a couple people around us aren't always as truthful as they could be, and we got to dig and do some research up. That's where Venus, the planet of love and affection, in analytical, research-oriented Virgo comes in. So that's another thing. We're going to get to the bottom of this no matter what. So yes, it is overall a rather positive full moon, but we will have questions connected with leaders, connected with the powers that be, and how it affects us overall. We're feeling rather generous, yes, and we want to do a lot of talking. So many discussions. Look for documents. Look for writings or something that really captures our attention. Don't be overly critical of anyone around us, loved ones, family, co-workers, and this full moon will definitely keep us very fascinated indeed. If you'd like to get in touch with me, my contact information is down below. I give one-on-one readings and written reports. Please subscribe to this channel and press the bell notification. Until next time, many, many blessings.